And we're live.
Hi, welcome to AirPlay. I'm Coni Koepfinger, and once again, we have a really great show for you today, a play. Again, the play's the thing. We're working on the play here. We have a really good cast and a really good play and a really good playwright. So Carrie, without further ado, my wonderful co-host, Carrie Wesolowski, could you please tell us about the play, the playwright, and the players?
Yes, my pleasure, Connie. So great to be here today. Our play today is Death Takes a Mulligan, or Fatal Lies on the Back Nine. And our playwright is David Dietz III, and he is also doing double duty today because he will also be playing the role of Wilson Irons. And I am the director, and I will also be playing Taylor Irons. And I just have to say, it has been so much fun working on this with everyone. And Beth Griffith, she will be playing Millie Driver. Welcome, Beth. Larry Parker will be playing Phil Chippenputt. In the role of Reg Greene, James Jerome. And our narrator will be reading today for us, Matt Matthews. And just a little bit about our play. Phil Chippenputt, egotistical resident golf pro, is murdered, and the suspects at the East Dogbreath Phil's Country Club are certainly plentiful. Was it the club's owner, Wilson Irons, who's grown tired of Phil's constant philandering with his wife, Taylor? Was it the club's groundskeeper, Reg Greene? Or his Millie Driver, his long-suffering Caddy, finally decided to get some of her own back? Follow the clues and enjoy the laughs as the mystery unfolds before you in a raucous afternoon of fun. And now, Death Takes a Mulligan, or Fatal Lies on the Back Nine.
At the beginning, we hear birds chirping, light summer breeze blowing. Then we hear the sound of a golf club swinging and hitting a ball off the tee. After a beat or two, we hear...
Oh, crap!
breaking glass as the ball shatters a window.
Damn, I shanked it.
Phil Chippenputt enters carrying a 7-iron, his lucky golf tee dangling from the side of his mouth like a cigarette or a toothpick.
Okay.
He begins circulating the room, focusing on his missing ball. He looks under tables, in people's plates, cups, etc. Phil spots a bald man in the crowd. He crosses over to stand behind him.
Ah, there you are. Millie!
Millie Driver, carrying the golf bag full of Phil's clubs, enters. Phil raises his club, preparing to hit the guy's head with a 7-iron.
Okay. Feet firmly planted. Eye on the ball. Smooth rhythm, and...
Phil!
Within seconds, Millie spots what Phil is attempting to do. She is momentarily shocked.
Phil!
No, Millie. How many times do I have to tell you? It's 4. 4! And you usually wait until after you actually hit the ball before you say it.
Phil returns his attention to the bald man. He prepares to bring the hammer down on the guy's head again, but Millie pulls the club from Phil's hands as he swings down. Unaware of what has happened, Phil goes through his full swing, which causes him to comically whirl around and fall to the floor.
Millie, what on earth are you doing?
Saving you from making the biggest mistake of your life.
Oh my God, Millie. You're absolutely right. How could I have been so blind? I should have used the short iron here.
Phil goes to the golf bag and pulls out an unusually short-shafted iron, like from a junior club set. He proudly displays it, then moves back to his spot. Millie stops him.
Phil, you were just about to assault that poor man.
What poor man?
That poor man there.
Oh, my God, where did you come from? Shouldn't you be in the bar banging Harvey's walls right now?
You mean drinking Harvey Wallbangers?
Isn't that what I just said?
Phil, what the heck were you thinking?
I wasn't thinking.
Obviously.
I was focused on my game, but it's not entirely my fault. You know, I mean, if it wasn't for his complexion so pale and dimply.
Good Lord. You've been working here how long now, and you still haven't been able to figure out the difference between a golf ball and a person's head?
Well, they say 90% of the game is in your head after all.
Right. Your head, not his.
The point is, sometimes you got to be imaginative to get yourself out through the rough.
There's another way to stay out of the rough, you know. It's called hitting the fairway. Lots of other pros do it, you know, and do it consistently.
Oh, sure. If you want to play it safe and boring, like Bobby Jones, Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus.
You just named 3 of the most successful players ever to play the game. Haven't you ever thought that there's a reason why they are in the Hall of Fame and you're just the house pro here at East Dogbreath Hills?
Look, the reason I'm the house pro here has nothing to do with how I play on tour.
Oh, really?
Yes, really.
Then why are we inside the clubhouse looking for a ball you hit into it instead of into the bunker like you usually do?
Oh, the sun got in my eyes. An owl screech at the apex of my arc? Just look around, see if you can find it.
Okay. I'm looking. Just out of curiosity, what happens if we do find it?
When we find it.
Okay, fine. When we find it. What are you going to do then? You're probably just going to have to take a drop anyway.
Never. Phil Chippenputt has never taken a drop in his life.
Yeah? Well, this says otherwise.
Hey, put that back. You know you're not supposed to be drinking on the job.
Oh, look who's calling the kettle black over here. Wet Pot's calling the kettle black.
Whoa, what do you know about the pot?
What?
Never mind.
Look, all I'm saying is, I don't blame you. I mean, God knows Wilson Irons doesn't pay any of us what we're really worth.
On that point, we agree. My instructional sessions are about the only reason this club brings in any income at all.
Yeah, and I'm sure he just loves that. Speaking of which, you know, I'd be happy and very willing to take a few of those people off your hands. Well, I mean, you know, just so you could focus on your own game, of course, for any upcoming tournaments you might want to play.
Well, as I appreciate the offer, Millie, I'm more than capable of handling my current workload. And you know how Irons feels about people stepping outside of their assigned lanes?
Well, in that case, salut.
Besides, there's an even more important reason for us to keep looking.
What's that?
I got no more balls.
You can say that again.
No, I mean no more balls in my bag.
Boy, you are just getting deeper and deeper into the cabbage, aren't you?
The bag on your back?
Excuse me, if you even think of putting your bag on my back.
This bag. The bag was my last ball. I cannot afford to lose it.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, you certainly never dropped any money on teas for as long as I've known you.
Phil removes the tea from his mouth and displays it proudly.
Not when I've got good old Anika here. She's been my good luck charm for years.
Yeah, she must be lucky. I mean, you've hit every single tee shot out there using the same tee over and over and never even so much as cracked her, even with that extra long shaft and oversized head of yours.
Millie, while I'm well aware of your not so secret admiration for me, must I remind you yet again that I make it strict policy never to get involved with my caddy. Sorry.
I was referring to your driver, you misogynistic adelpate.
Your flowery prose will only veil the depth of your hidden desires for me.
Ew, gross. Well, at least constantly sucking Annika won't kill you like those Marlboros would have.
See? I knew you cared. But be rest assured, Millie, my lung has never felt better.
Reg Greene enters.
Oh, hey there, Miss Driver, Mr. Chippenputt.
Reg, what are you doing in the clubhouse? Shouldn't you be out on 17 trying to resuscitate that ugly patch of dead grass?
Well, I need to find Mr. Irons. We're out of patch seed, you see, and I need his authorization to order some.
That's the third time we've needed to restock in the last 2 months.
Blame it on the weather, Miss Driver. It's been drier than desert pines in the dog days of August. And you know how Mr. Irons feels about us wasting water.
Oh, yeah.
No wonder this club is going down the tubes. I honestly don't know why I even stay here.
That makes 2 of us.
3.
Don't you need to relocate a hole somewhere?
Oh, pay no attention to him, Reg. He's just being Mr. Cranky Pants because he lost his widow ball.
Again?
Last I checked, it was the caddy's job to keep track of where it landed.
Oh, I almost forgot. That's why I came here. I just saw your ball out in the hallway.
What makes you so sure it was mine? You know the number of stray shots the members of this club make?
1,377,442 a month.
Exactly. So with all those slices flying around here, day after day, how can you be sure that that ball out in the hallway belongs to moi?
Well, it's the brand you usually play, sir. And it has your personal mark on it. Property of Phil Chippenputt at East Dogbreath Hills Country Club at do not touch, move, or remove. In fact, stop looking at it right now and get on with your own game. XXX.
You actually added X's to the end of that?
No. It's an X out.
How in the hell did you fit all that text onto a single ball?
Well, the average golf ball does have between 340, 450 dimples on it, Miss Driver.
Yes, Reg, I know that.
Well, then you should also know that 1 letter per dimple leaves plenty of real estate for writing. Out in the hallway, you said, huh?
Yes, sir. Right underneath Mrs. Irons' portrait.
Oh, that's just how she likes it, isn't it, Phil? Being on top?
Quiet, Millie. Pass me the 5-wood.
Millie pulls the club from the bag and hands it to Phil. She maintains her grasp when Phil grabs it.
You really think that's enough club for that lie?
Phil angrily takes the club and exits.
Even think that all that extra ink, ever think that all that extra ink might be what's throwing your game off?
You shouldn't let him get your hackles up, Miss Driver. I seen him out there on the links, and you're a way better golfer than he could ever hope to be.
Don't I know it, Reg? If anyone around here deserves to be house professional, it's me. But for some reason, old Wilson Irons with his short arms and long pockets, he still keeps Phil Sleazy Butt on the payroll.
Wilson Irons enters, but Millie doesn't notice.
Despite the fact that he relentlessly tries to play hole-in-one with every woman who signs up to his lessons, to say nothing of Irons' own wife.
Millie,
Not that I blame her entirely. I mean, Iron spends so much time wooing potential new members. Well, it's no wonder she likes playing a few rounds with the other guys' sticks, if you know what I mean.
Millie,
I mean, honestly, Reg, can you just tell me one thing? He's standing right behind me, isn't he?
Miss Driver, if you wish to remain on the payroll here, I suggest you adopt the proper stance. Keep your head down and your mouth shut. The rumor mill around here has quite enough operators as it is.
Yes, Mr. Irons.
please don't be mad at her, Mr. Irons, sir. I'm sure she didn't mean nothing by it.
I certainly hope not. I have high hopes for you, young lady.
Really? Well, I mean, I realize that this might not be the best moment to ask, but, well, you must have seen me play out on the course at least a couple of times by now.
Of course I have. What of it?
Well, sir, it's just that I really think I have what it takes to play professionally. Don't I, Reg?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's real good, Mr. Irons, sir.
Right. And so if the club would be willing to sponsor me.
Miss Driver, we've been over this. We already have a house professional. And while I do appreciate your ability and your ambitions, I think you could still learn a lot more as a caddy.
But sir, if you just give me a chance.
Miss Driver, the last thing this club can afford right now is a dramatic change of personnel. Players play, caddies cad. Now, go find Phil and give him a hand with his balls.
That is just so wrong on so many levels.
I'm actually glad you're here, Mr. Irons, sir. I wanted to talk to you about our supply situation.
Not now, Reg. I have a million things on my mind.
Wilson moves to exit, but stops halfway through Reg's next line.
Oh, I understand, Mr. Irons, sir. I'm sure the current state of the course will only add to your troubles, so I won't bother you with how bad it's getting out there. Our members are kind of getting used to, playing on the dirt by now anyways.
Wait!
Reg moves to exit. Wilson's next line stops him.
What are we low on?
You sure you want me to tell you now, sir?
Yes, Reg, I'm sure.
Because I can save it to tomorrow when you're not so busy.
Reg, spit it out now! No, I mean, tell me what we need.
Oh, well, patch seed for one thing. We also got to get some more gas for the golf carts and fluid for the ball washers. Oh, and I need to refill our stock of fungicide.
Didn't we just get an order of that in last week?
Can't be helped, sir. The weather we've been having this season has been making it real tough to keep it under control.
And it must be the Daconil. Isn't there another product we can buy that's a bit more economical?
Well, sir, if we change products now, it could be a shock to the delicate ecosystem we've been working on since the snow finally melted.
Very well. This is your area of expertise, I suppose. But isn't there at least something we can do about the smell?
What smell?
You haven't noticed how the tea boxes out there have an aroma reminiscent of a small sewage treatment plant?
Nope. Then again, smell is the weakest of my 8 senses.
Well, the USGA certainly has. They tell me they've received several complaints against us from the Audubon Society, Greenpeace, the Sierra Club, and the Easter Seals.
Oh, come on now, Mr. Irons, sir. The last one sounded a little fishy to me. There's no Easter seal. How could he carry eggs in his flippers? and the Audubon Society, don't even get me started on those Germans. They think they're so superior with their no speed limit highways.
Reg, my point is that if we receive any more complaints from these so-called environmentalists, emphasis on the mental, the club will have no choice but to shut its gates permanently. And all of us, you included, will be out of a job.
Point taken. Well, in that case, I'll certainly see what I can do, Mr. Irons, sir.
Thank you. We can discuss this further after the press conference.
What press conference?
Oh, just a little informal gathering of the local media I've arranged for this afternoon. Oh, which reminds me, I'd better make sure we have enough hors d'oeuvres for them. If there's one thing that ensures the presence of those showbiz types, it's plenty of free food.
And an open bar always helps too, you know. Just saying.
Wilson, Wilson, where are you? Oh, hello, Reg.
Hi there, Taylor.
Now, Reggie dear, what have we said? Here at the club, it's Mrs. Irons.
Oh, right. Sorry, Tay. I mean,
That's better. Now then, I don't suppose you've seen my less than better half all today, right?
Well, I think you'll probably find him in the kitchen. Find it in the kitchen.
Oh, no. Don't tell me he's insisting on giving cooking tips to Chef again. He seriously needs to stop watching all of those Gordon Ramsay programs.
I don't think so. He said he needed to check him some horse doo-doo.
What?
No, that ain't the right word, is it? Whores doors.
Reg?
No, that ain't it either. You know that them little snacks that get passed around at all the club events.
Hors d'oeuvres.
That's it. Sorry, I flunked high school German.
Oh, you mean French?
No, German.
No need to apologize, Reg. Reggie, dear, I find your complete lack of sophistication a charming change of pace from the rest of the stuffed shirts in this place.
Oh, shucks, Tay, Mrs. Irons.
Why are we preparing a bunch of little snacks anyway?
Mrs. Irons said something about a press conference this afternoon.
Oh, that. Well, at any rate, it means he'll be too busy to bother me for at least the next 15 minutes.
Really? So, you want to hit the coat room then?
Oh, Reggie, you're a mind reader.
Okay, great. I'll meet you there in 30 seconds.
Go ahead and start without me, dear.
I think that's the fastest I've seen that dunder-headed groundskeeper move all week. You say something to him? Okay?
Maybe.
What?
Does it matter?
Maybe.
Fine. I said I'd meet him in the coat room in 30 seconds.
Oh, did you?
Relax, darling. I didn't say which coat room. He'll be occupied for at least the next hour trying to figure it out.
I wish you wouldn't tease him like that.
Why, Philip, if I didn't know better, I think you actually cared about poor old Reg.
Oh, I don't care about that miserable, smelly troglodyte. I'm more concerned about you. After all, some men, some less sophisticated men might actually come to believe that you've fallen for them.
And some men, some less enlightened men, might actually be jealous of what on the surface bears a passing resemblance to competition.
Give me a little credit, Taylor. I've never been concerned about competition.
Well, that certainly explains why you've never won a tournament. I'm teasing, darling. It's what I do best. Besides, you know, I could care less about your handicap.
I thought we agreed to never, ever talk about that.
Your golf score?
Right. Oh, right. That too.
Personally, I don't understand the attraction to the game at all. In what other sport do you yell 4, score 6, and write down 5?
By the way, do you have any idea what's going on here today? The club seems to be unusually busy, especially for this time of day.
Oh, Wilson mentioned something about a surprise press conference or something planned for this afternoon.
Oh, really? And what exactly is old volleyball head announcing now?
Well, probably some grand new scheme he has to pull the club out of its current financial doldrums.
Wilson enters, unseen by Taylor or Phil.
Really? That's all you're going to tell me about this?
That's all I know. I barely listen to anything he says. Anyway, besides, he really seems to be playing this one close to the chest.
Phil moves to Taylor and wraps his arms around her. She reciprocates.
Just as long as he's not moving too close to your chest.
No worries there, darling.
Phil moves to kiss her. Taylor stops him.
Darling,
Hmm?
before we go any further, would you at least do me the courtesy of removing that toothpick from your mouth?
Golf tee, and her name is Anika.
Whatever. In any case, it's not the sort of wood I'm in the mood for.
Chippenputt!
Phil and Taylor quickly take their hands off each other.
Isn't it about time for your lesson with Mrs. Bogeymeyer?
So it is. Forgive me, my dear Taylor, but duty calls. We'll resume our little twosome later.
Phil moves to exit. Wilson's words stop him.
Is it too much to ask that you give my wife the proper deference?
Not at all. Ask anyway.
I just did.
Oh, you did? Sorry, I was ignoring you.
Oh, Phil, you are a hoot.
Yes, I am. Now, if you'll excuse me, I must get to my lesson. You know, little Willie, the lessons that more or less pay for paying the bills around this place.
Phil exits. Wilson turns to Taylor.
Taylor, my beloved, I would greatly appreciate it if you'd keep the confidential details of my press conference confidential. Been working on this deal for weeks.
This deal is driving a wedge in our relationship, Wilson. You shouldn't be spending so much time at the club. You should be home in the arms of your loving spouse.
Loving spouse? Oh, forgive me, Taylor, but that has to be the funniest thing you've said in years.
Wilson, don't be that way. I have needs too, you know. Needs that only the right man can satisfy.
Oh, really? And who exactly is that? Reg? Phil? Chef?
Darling, how can you say that? You know that I have never, ever, once in my entire life slept with Chef.
The way I hear it, there isn't a whole lot of sleeping going on.
Darling, you mustn't believe the awful things that the staff says about me behind your back.
Or to my face.
Or to your face.
Or in my inbox.
Or in your... The point is, they're just rumors, darling. That's all. Started by a bunch of people who are jealous of what you and I have.
Reg enters, picking up the tail end of their conversation.
Do you really think I'm that naive, Taylor? I just saw you in here almost getting jiggy with Phil.
Because he kept pumping me.
Oh, is that what they call it now?
For information about your surprise press conference. I tried telling him I didn't know anything, but he kept pushing. I had to do something to get his mind off it.
Oh, and it just had to involve him getting his hands on you?
Excuse me, Mr. Ironside.
Yes, what is it, Reg?
Everything okie dokie in here?
Yes. Fine, Reg.
Well, I'll come back later. I don't want to get in the middle of.
Reg, what do you want?
Well, a new true turf green roller would be kind of nice. But that's not really the answer you were looking for, is it? But I thought you'd know that the news people are here.
What? Already? Are you sure?
Pretty sure. I just hung up their coats in the coat room.
What on earth were you doing in the... Oh, never mind. I'll deal with all this later. Oh, do me a favor, though, Reg. Make sure Phil's taking good care of Mrs. Bogeymeyer, then find Millie and get her in here right away.
Wait, you're shutting your house pro out of the press conference?
That's right.
But you do want his caddy at it. Why?
It's all part of the plan, Taylor. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get my notes together for the announcement.
And what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Well, talk to the guests. Make sure they're enjoying themselves. I don't care, but whatever you do, don't ruin this for me by doing something stupid. Like, I don't know, running to Phil and spilling the beans.
Spilling the beans. Never tried that one before. I wonder what page it's on. The Kama Sutra?
End of Act 1. As we begin Act 2, Phil enters. Golf tee between his lips as usual. He skulks about the room suspiciously, improving with the audience. Millie enters and sees Phil.
Phil, what on earth are you doing in here? You're supposed to be taking care of Miss Bogeymeyer.
Oh, I left her out in the driving range to practice her putting.
Phil, we have special greens for that.
Hey, who's the house pro here? Don't worry, she'll be perfectly fine. Besides, I have a nagging suspicion that old Iron Balls is deliberately trying to keep me away from the clubhouse this afternoon.
What makes you say that?
Please, I can read people like I can read a green.
Yeah, poorly.
You know something about this?
No, I mean, well, I'm as in the dark as you are most of the time.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, Phil, all I know is that Irons wants me in here and you out of here.
Well, I'm not going anywhere. I have every right to hear this big announcement straight from the horse's mouth.
Seriously, Phil, if he sees you in here, he's going to blow a gasket. And in that outfit, you're kind of hard to overlook.
Then I'll disguise myself.
What? Whoa. Do you even own any clothes not made by Nike, Callaway, or Titleist?
Well, under my Gucci's are Tommy John. Oh, but my magnificent physique will only make me stand out even more. Damn.
Wilson and Taylor enter.
Was that Phil that just ran past us? What was he doing in here?
Just taking a little break. Don't worry. He was just, headed back to finish up with Mrs. Bogeymeyer.
He left her putting on the driving range again, didn't he?
Now, darling, just relax. You always get so anxious before you deliver a speech.
This isn't just any speech, Taylor, and you know it. The very existence of this club hangs on what I'm about to announce.
Well, then, maybe you and I should go off somewhere private and, do something to help relax you.
I'm perfectly fine, Taylor, and I certainly don't need your idea of relaxation.
Really, Wilson? Are the air quotes just a tad insulting?
Excuse me, Mr. and Mrs. Irons.
What?
Pardon me for saying so, but just for the sake of the media and everyone else here, shouldn't you two just put your animosity on hold, at least until after the press conference is over?
Much as I hate to admit it, darling, the girl does have a point.
Fine. We'll play the loving spouses for the masses, but then afterward, you and I need to have a serious discussion.
Everything's all set for you, Mr. Irons, sir.
Thank you, Reg. Well, here goes nothing.
Wilson and Taylor cross to the center of the room to address the crowd. Phil enters, unseen by any of the others. He's disguised himself in a long trench coat, fedora, and dark sunglasses. He hangs at the back, waiting for his moment.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed members of the Fourth Estate, honored guests, and the rest of you who somehow managed to worm your way in here.
Way to endear yourself to crowd, darling.
As you may know, the past few years have been challenging, to say the least, for us here at the East Dogbreath Hills Country Club. Our membership has been rapidly declining.
Our facilities are in desperate need of major, and I do mean major renovations.
And the last time anything notable happened here was back during the Ford administration, when the then president's executive secretary briefly stopped here to ask for directions to the airport.
Perhaps you all saw that commemorative plaque hanging next to the coat room?
Not helping, my dear. But today, all that changes. Today, I am pleased to announce that after many months of rigorous negotiations, I have reached a tentative agreement with the board of the USGA to have the East Dogbreath Hills Country Club host a major tour qualifying tournament.
Seriously?
Seriously?
Now, as I said, this agreement is still tentative, and as such, we have many details that have yet to be finalized, so we'll be issuing additional statements down the road. Now, does anyone here have a provocative question about the event? Anyone?
Oui, monsieur. I do.
And you are?
Je m'appelle Jacques Strapwizy, international athletic supporter.
Okay. And what is your question, Mr. Strepe?
You said that you would be bringing in some touring professionals to, and I quote, boost interest in the event. I assume that list would also include your club's very own, who's a professional, whom I hear is quite a player in his own right.
Oh, yeah. He's quite the player, all right. But to answer your question, he will most definitely not receive an invitation.
It's why the hell not? Pardon me, I mean, may I ask why not?
Well, I could bore you with the laundry list of reasons, but suffice it to say that he's not really the right fit for the tournament.
How dare you? Oh, Irons, I've never been more fit in my entire life.
Oh boy, here we go.
You know, I really didn't want to do this here, but since we're dropping all our pretenses now, you are without a doubt the absolute worst golfer I have ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah? Well, I've been on goofy golf courses that have been better manicured than your smelly goat track on a back nine.
Hey, that's hurtful.
Shut up, Reg.
Funny. I was just going to say that that's the only place that would ever have you on the staff, because they'd have to be guilty.
Now, darling, let's not say something we'll regret later.
You see? There you go again, always coming to your darling Phil's defense. You know something, Chippenputt? If it were up to me, you wouldn't be permitted within 500 feet of this club, let alone the tournament.
Actually, sir, it is up to you.
Millie!
That's right. It is. Chippenputt, consider yourself terminated.
Darling, please, you don't mean it.
I mean every word of it. Collect your things and be off the property by the end of the day.
You sniveling little elitist. Pissant! Mark my words. The USGA will be hearing about this. And I'm going to be sure I sue you for wrongful termination, defamation of character, and anything else the law allows me to make up. If I go down, this whole damn country club goes with me.
Oh, do us all a favor and drop dead.
Holy crap. Jax was Phil the whole time.
All right, Phil, stop being so melodramatic. Get up before I have to call security. Phil? Phil!
Oh my God. Is he?
Terminated.
Oh,
Well, of course he is. I just terminated him. Wasn't anybody paying attention?
And Mr. Irons, he's dead.
Yeah, dead weight, am I right? Been saying that for years.
No, dead, as in deceased, demise, passed on, no longer.
Wait a minute,
among the-
Millie, wait a minute. If I understand you correctly, what you're trying to tell us is that Phil's dead.
My God! I can't have a dead body in my dining room! It's a serious health code violation. Reg, help me get the body out of here.
darling, is there anything I can do?
Yes, call Mort.
The funeral director.
Yes, tell him there's been a terrible accident and he needs to get over here right away.
Mrs. Irons, whatever you do, please don't make that call yet.
Why not?
Well, and there's something about this whole thing that doesn't seem right.
What on earth are you talking about? You heard, Wilson. It was a terrible accident.
Was it, though? I mean, I'm not so sure.
Sure, about what?
Oh, nothing, darling. Veronica Mars here is just under the absurd notion that Phil's death wasn't an accident.
Is that so?
Well, I mean, yes, I do own all 3 seasons on DVD, but that's beside the point. Phil was an athlete in peak physical condition.
That's true.
What?
Mhm. He said it himself right before he croaked.
Uh,
Is that always why he had that golf tee in his mouth?
yeah, it wasn't the Marlboros, Mrs. Irons. Lots of reformed smokers develop this oral fixation.
Oh, but you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, my dear?
And besides, he had quit more than a year ago. Reg, why would that suddenly do him in now?
You know, Millie, it's not unheard of for athletes at the top of their game to just suddenly drop dead. You know, look at Jim Fix.
What?
Google it, people.
Ugh. For once, Reg is right. There's absolutely no reason to think that this was anything more than a case of rotten luck and unfortunate timing.
Yeah, except that you seem to be rather eager to just, sweep the whole thing under the rug, sir.
Young lady, if we don't put a lid on this, it could completely ruin the whole tournament deal. To say nothing of this club's already tainted reputation.
Well, I suppose that's possible.
Thank you.
But then again, if some other guy was macking on my missus for as long as Phil was on yours, I mean, I would understandably be pretty teed off about it.
Darling, you didn't kill Phil, did you?
Of course not. True, he wasn't my favorite person on the planet, but as much as it pains me to admit it, his private instruction sessions, such as they were keeping our doors open.
But I mean, now that the tournament is all but a certainty, the club doesn't exactly need him anymore. Am I right?
Oh, leave him alone, Millie. I believe him.
Oh, so now you come to my defense.
Of course, why wouldn't I?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because you just lost your favorite gigolo?
Wilson, I swear to you, nothing happened between us, ever.
Well, I mean, forgive me for saying so, but you do have a bit of a reputation around the club, ma'am.
All right, I admit it. I'm a dreadful flirt.
From what I've seen, you're at green jacket level.
But you know how some men, some dense, egotistical men can be. No matter how many times you lead them on, then brush them off, they insist on coming back for more.
Well, if that was indeed the case, why didn't you just put your foot down? Or better yet, come to me about it.
When were you ever around to hear me, Wilson? You were so busy working on this deal and that deal and wouldn't tell me anything about it. Sometimes any attention is better than none at all.
And sometimes that kind of attention can get to be too much to handle, right, Mrs. Irons?
Miss Driver, I suggest you tread very lightly.
Well, all I'm saying is that it would be totally understandable if killing Phil were her only way out of a messy situation.
No, Tay, or Mrs. Irons absolutely did not kill Phil.
Oh, Reg, that's so sweet of you, but you don't have to defend me.
Well, he may need to defend himself, though.
What do you mean?
Well, let's face it. I mean, Phil always looked down on you, Reg. He constantly insulted your intelligence and personal hygiene. Plus, he never missed an opportunity to disparage the way you maintain the grounds around here.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about you, Millie? I seem to recall you saying something about how you deserve to be the club's house pro.
Well,
But you thought that would never happen as long as Mr. Irons never got rid of Phil.
What do you say to that, young lady?
I mean, look, well, I admit I was upset when I said that. I mean, haven't we all said things in the heat of the moment that we regret later?
Oh, you mean like accusing people of murder?
Point taken. Maybe minds better than ours can help us sort this whole thing out.
I'd be inclined to agree. But Stephen Hawking is dead and Neil deGrasse Tyson is impossible to get a hold of anymore.
Oh, no, actually, sir, I was referring to them.
Holy crap. Have they been here the whole time?
Yes, Reg, they've been watching our every move, and I'm sure they have some questions they'd like to ask us all. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your opportunity to play detective. You can help us bring a murderer to justice, and maybe with a fabulous prize. I mean, that is to say, win a chance to leave here tonight with something you didn't have when you arrived. I mean, I think it's only fair that one of us ladies should start us off.
Thank you, Millie. Any questions for me? Thanks for listening. Join us next week to be continued on AirPlay.